Hello everyone, how are you? Let's start our first lesson in Unit 2. But firstly, let me remind you, in our previous studies, we said that the body of the living organisms is made up of a group of systems that are working together in full harmony to keep the human alive. For example, in grade 4, we talked about digestive system, respiratory system. In this lesson, we will talk about circulatory system. It transports the digestive food, oxygen and water to all the body parts and transports or takes the wastes from all the body parts to special organs to get rid of them. Let's see how, but firstly, let's see the structure of the circulatory system. It consists of the heart, blood vessels, and blood. Firstly, the heart. It's a muscular, hollow organ. Hollow means that there is a space to contain the blood. The size of the heart is equal to the size of your fist. The heart is located inside chest cavity between the two lungs. It has 4 rooms located in the 2 sides of the heart. The right side, the left side, and there is a wall between the right side and the left side. This wall separated them. Why? At the right side of the heart has blood, unlike to the left side of the heart. So the wall prevents mixing of blood in the both sides. In each side there are 2 rooms. The upper room is called atrium. So in the right side there is right atrium and the left side there is left atrium, and in the low left side is left ventricle, and in the low right side there is right ventricle. Between each one, between right atrium and right ventricle, there is a valve. In the same way, between left atrium and left ventricle, there is a valve too. So there is valve between atrium and ventricle in each side. This ventricle helps the blood to go from atrium to ventricle. For example, the blood is in the right atrium, so it passes through the valve to the right ventricle, but it can't return back to the right atrium. In the same way, in the left side, the blood that is in the left atrium passes through the valve to go to left ventricle, but it can't return back to the left atrium because of the valve. So the valve allows blood to flow from the atrium to the ventricle and prevents it from returning back the 4 rooms: right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle, always full of blood and connected to blood vessels. So the next structure of circulatory system is blood vessels. They are the passes of blood throughout the body, as it acts like a network that the blood flows through it inside the body. Again, they are the passes of blood throughout the body, means that the blood in the heart passes through the blood vessels to all the body parts, and the wastes from all the body parts passes through the blood vessels to special organs to get rid of them. The blood vessels consists of 3 parts. The first one is arteries, veins, and blood capillaries. Let's start with blood capillaries. They are network of tiny blood vessels with very thin walls that are located within tissues like that and around the cells like the alveoli. If you remember in grade 4 in respiratory system that each alveoli has thin walls and surrounded by a network of blood capillaries where the exchange of gases happens. between the air existing in the alveoli, as the alveoli has the oxygen gas, and the blood in the blood capillaries through their thin wall, as the blood capillaries take the oxygen from the alveoli and give the alveoli the carbon dioxide gas, which get it from all the body parts and return it back to the heart to let the heart take the blood full of oxygen to all the body parts. We will see these details in this lesson. So, the blood capillaries located within tissues and around the cells. They connect the ends of arteries and the beginning of veins. Their thin walls allow blood to deliver food and oxygen to the cells and carries carbon dioxide and wastes out of the cells, like we said in the respiratory system. The second one is arteries. They are thick blood vessels which come from the heart. So it starts in the heart, exactly from the two ventricles, like pulmonary artery and aorta. They transport blood from the heart to all the body parts. How it get the blood from the heart to all the body parts? Firstly, let's see there is the blood in the right ventricle. This blood in the right ventricle go through the pulmonary artery to the two lungs. Again, this blood in the right ventricle comes from all the body parts. So the blood in the right ventricle is full of carbon dioxide. It goes through the pulmonary artery to go to the two lungs to give the carbon dioxide to the two lungs. If you remember that blood capillaries connect the arteries with veins, it means that the end of artery connect with blood capillaries which surrounding the alveoli. So the right ventricle carries the blood which full of carbon dioxide through the pulmonary artery which ended at the blood capillary which surrounding the alveoli. So it gives the carbon dioxide to alveoli and gets the oxygen from the alveoli, and the blood return back to this pulmonary veins till it reach the left atrium. Then the blood pass through the valve till it reach left ventricle. So this blood in left ventricle full of oxygen. So it will pass through the aorta to all the body parts. So artery transport blood from the heart to all the body parts. Arteries, as we said, they are thick blood vessels. Start at the heart, then it becomes smaller till the ending in a network of blood capillaries. Again, it starts thick or wide and large in the heart, then it becomes smaller till it reaches the blood capillaries near the cell. All arteries carry blood rich in oxygen, like aorta, but pulmonary artery doesn't carry blood full of oxygen. As we said, that pulmonary artery takes the blood full of carbon dioxide to the two lungs. So the pulmonary artery carries blood rich in carbon dioxide, not blood rich in oxygen. The third type is veins. They are thin blood vessels which begin at body cells and open in the heart. If you remember that blood capillaries connect the end of the artery with the beginning of the veins. So it means that veins start or begin at body cells and open in the heart. They start at the body cells, then it collect together to open in the heart. In pulmonary veins and superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So veins open in the heart in pulmonary veins and superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. In the arteries, we said that it takes the blood from the heart to all the body parts. Veins, unlike it, veins take or transport blood from all body parts to the heart. How does it happen? The blood comes from all the body parts to the right atrium through superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So the blood enters the right atrium, passes through superior vena cava or inferior vena cava. The blood which in the right atrium passes through the valve to go to right ventricle. Then it will go to through pulmonary artery to go to the two lungs to get the blood full of oxygen. Now the blood is full of oxygen, but it wants to go to the all body parts. So it will return back to the heart through the pulmonary veins till it reaches the left atrium. Then the blood passes through the valve to go to left ventricle and pass through the aorta to all the body parts. So veins transport blood from all the body parts to the heart. As we said, it began in form of blood capillaries as blood capillaries in the cells of the body parts. So it starts from the body capillaries at the cells, then they are collected together to become larger till reaching the heart. All veins carry blood rich in carbon dioxide, like superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, as the blood comes from all the body parts full of wastes like carbon dioxide. Then it will reach the heart, passing through superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Then it reaches right atrium. Then it will pass through the valve to the right ventricle. Then it will go through pulmonary artery to give the blood that full of carbon dioxide to special organ to get rid of them and get the blood that full of oxygen. Then it return back to the heart through the pulmonary veins. So pulmonary veins carry blood rich in oxygen. Again, all veins like superior vena cava and inferior vena cava carry blood rich in carbon dioxide, but pulmonary veins carry blood rich in oxygen. Till now we said that blood comes from all body parts carrying carbon dioxide and reach the two lungs to get rid of carbon dioxide and get the oxygen gas to transport it to all the body parts. What is the blood and what does it consist of? Blood, it is a red liquid that passes through the blood vessels, as we said, like arteries and veins and the blood capillaries. The blood consists of red blood cells and white blood cells and blood platelets and plasma. Firstly, red blood cells. They are red cells without nuclei. They carry oxygen from the lungs to the body cells. So the cells that carry the oxygen from the lungs is red blood cells in the blood and carry carbon dioxide from all body parts to the lungs. Again, the red blood cells in the blood carry oxygen and carry carbon dioxide. The next one is white blood cells. They are white cells with different forms of nuclei. If you get sick, it will deafen you as it attacks microbes that enter the body. And blood platelets. They are small cell parts. When you cut yourself, the wound is exposed to air. So platelets making a brown layer in the wound and prevent bleeding and heal wounds. The last one is plasma. It is a yellow watery fluid where all blood components are suspended. Till now we said that red blood cells carry oxygen and carry carbon dioxide. But the other useful materials like vitamins and carbohydrates, how can it reach all the body parts, and how the other wastes go to the special organs? So plasma carries the needed food substances to body cells and carries the harmful wastes that formed in the cells to another cells to get rid of them. Based on we said, the blood delivers materials to all body cells, as the red blood cell carry oxygen and carbon dioxide, and plasma transports food, vitamins and salts to all the body parts and get the wastes or harmful materials to the special organs to get rid of them. The white blood cell attack microbes that causes disease to the human, and blood platelets help in healing wounds. Now let's talk about the moving of the blood through the body parts. Let's divide it in two parts. The first one is the luminary blood circulation. It is the blood circulation between the heart and the two lungs. Firstly, this is the heart. If you remember, we said that the blood carrying carbon dioxide coming from all the body parts to the right atrium through two large veins, which are superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Again, if you remember, this is the heart, and we said that right atrium has the blood that full of carbon dioxide. This blood which come from all the body parts to reach the heart, it reach the heart through veins, two large veins, which are superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Then the blood in the right atrium pass through the valve till it reach right ventricle to pass through the pulmonary artery to reach the two lungs. Again, we said that the blood in the right atrium, which full of carbon dioxide, pass through the valve till it reach the right ventricle. This right ventricle has blood full of carbon dioxide and pass through pulmonary artery to reach the two lungs. If you remember, the pulmonary artery ends at blood capillaries. So the blood which pass through pulmonary artery till it ends in the blood capillaries which surrounding the alveoli in the circulatory system and gives the carbon dioxide to alveoli and get the oxygen from it. Now the blood in the blood capillaries surrounding alveoli in the two lungs is full of oxygen. The blood now wants to return back to the heart to give the blood full of oxygen to all the body parts. So it will return back to the heart through the pulmonary veins till it reaches the left atrium. The blood in left atrium will go to left ventricle through the valve. So now the blood in left ventricle is full of oxygen. Now it wants to go to all the body parts, so it will pass through the aorta to go to all the body parts. So till now we know that how can we transport the oxygen to all the body parts, and how can we get the wastes from all the body parts like the carbon dioxide and get rid of them. How to maintain the circulatory system healthy, or how can we keep the circulatory system healthy? Firstly, keep exercising to active the blood circulation and eat healthy and food that is low in fat and salt, and eat more fresh and clean vegetables and fruits. Drink a suitable amount of clean water every day, especially in summer, and don't forget to drink water in winter. When you cut yourself or when you are wounded, try to stop bleeding and clean the wound and treat it, and at least avoid smoking and smokers, as smoking harms the heart and weakens the blood circulation. Now, let's have some fun and calculate the number of your heartbeats. Firstly, place your arm on a desk and palm up. Then, put your middle finger against the wrist near the base of your thumb. You will feel the pulse or the heartbeat in your wrist. Look at your watch and count your pulse for 10 seconds. Multiply the number of pulses by 6 to obtain the number of your heartbeats per minute. You will notice that the number of heartbeats at rest is about 70 beats per minute. Try it in your home.